I don't know what normal is anymore.
Nobody does.
No.
Nobody knows what the good is anymore.
To come back after 3:43 last night, I mean, that's the thing, you know, 3:43 for the mile last night. I'm going to come back and try and run low 7:20s, maybe even 7:20 here.
Barrega could be the danger man. He is the 10,000-meter champion from the Olympic Games. There is JAKOB Ingebrigtsen, living legend already, I think we can say that. Third fastest in history at 3,000 meters, and that was his personal best, 7:24 exactly, during his hard-to-believe 2 miles world record in Paris back on the 9th of June. Brian Fay of Ireland went out in his heat with the Budapest 5,000 meters, was with him last week in Romania, where he ran a 10K road race. Grant Fisher, in really good form, the American, but he wasn't in Budapest, didn't make the US team. Stewie McSwain looking to come back after a 10th in the mile yesterday, which was a 3:49 clocking, wasn't it? Exactly a poor run. Grijalva of just there in the blue to left of picture. Grijalva from Guatemala City. Bekele is there as well. Look out for him. Telo and Haile Bekele, 4th in the World Championships back in 2019. Wasn't in Budapest, couldn't make the Ethiopian team. Joshua Cheptegei, by the way, a late withdrawal from this one. The world record holder at 5,000. So away they go then. Now they've got a lap at an average of 68.7 if they are to get that world record of Daniel Komen, which goes back, as we said, 27 years. It'll be a very, very tough call for JAKOB Ingebrigtsen, as Steve pointed out, with that mile in his legs. But Steve, he's shown astonishing powers of recovery over these last few years. Remember back in 2018 rather, at the age of 17, winning that unique double at the European Championships in Berlin over 1,500 and 5,000. I think he won the 5,000 with the last lap of 54. He doesn't seem to fatigue, this fella, and he does seem to recover super fast.
No, I do. I went to congratulate him yesterday at the hotel after that mile, and then we talked about that, and then very quickly he started talking about this and how fast he wanted to go. And he asked for an extra pacemaker because he felt as though Prekel wouldn't be able to go far enough, quick enough, and that's why Novak's been brought in to do these first 2-3 laps. Hopefully Prekel will be able to keep it going. He's just, as you said, has astonishing powers of recovery, but he feels as though this is his pace. 59-second laps, thereabout. He said, that's spot on. That's me in my comfort zone.
Well, they've gone through the first lap pretty much on schedule, 59.1 for the first 400. They come down below us now and they go through 600 and about 128.5 for Ingebrigtsen there. Dark glasses and all. He will want to stick close to those pacemakers and benefit from their help for as long as we can. Bekele is tucked in behind Ingebrigtsen. The Ethiopian Luis Grijalva in 4th place, or 5th in the blue T-shirt top there, somewhat bizarrely. Behind him is Grant Fisher, stockily built Fisher, very powerfully built. Stewie McSwain in there as well. McSwain, the Australian record holder, looking to bounce back here after that mile yesterday.
Yeah, he just keeps letting that little gap go, and I think he's obviously at this stage you want to conserve as much energy as you want. The guys at the front are doing a great job, and we can see the lights as well, and they've got to keep on that. The blue at the front is for the pacemaker, the green lights, if you can see them, are for the actual athlete, and Ingebrigtsen's just letting them move away a little bit, and he'll be assessing 228, Tim. That's quick, that's good enough, but he'll be assessing now. I might just be feeling a little bit leggy here.
Well, 2:27.55 for the first 1,000 meters. It's, well, what, a half a second or so behind where they want to be. But Ingebrigtsen does have that fabulous finishing speed. He can wind it up over the last 400, remember. So if he's a little bit down at the bell, we can probably forgive him that. Novak moves aside now as Sam Prekel. The second pacemaker is a 7:46 performer himself. He's a 3:34 1,500-meter runner. Just accelerates away there. Ingebrigtsen trying to keep a nice steady tempo, but he's got to push on hard here, even though it's there nowhere near halfway yet. Still looking strong is Bekele, has a best of just 7:38 from Monaco last year. And they're going to be moving at something, well, 15 or 20 seconds quicker than that, they hope. Watch Kejelcha, by the way, in the dark vest there, back in 4th place now. I see him as a bit of a danger man. He had a big victory by a big margin over 5,000 metres in Zurich a couple of weeks back, Steve. A couple of weeks ago, you and I called that one. And Kejelcha, well, he is a special man, holds the world record for the mile indoors. There he is, tall, lean figure. Looking strong. That's that lovely, rangy stride tucked in behind Bekele.
Well, this is where it's going to get challenging. On the previous lap, Tim, when you were chatting, Bekele went past Ingebrigtsen, and it was almost a wake-up call to Ingebrigtsen, but they are dropping away from the pace required here, and he's now out there to be shot at. You mentioned Kejelcha and Barega, Bekele, who's slotted in behind him. If you're tired, these guys are not going to do anything other than follow you. And Ingebrigtsen isn't the best at changing pace. He keeps the pressure on, which is very different at this sort of pace than it is in the 1500. So they've all gathered behind him now. There's a massive group all of a sudden with 3 laps to go. And I think Ingebrigtsen either needs to pick this up here, or otherwise he could be in trouble.
Well, they're hanging in there with him. The pace is not demanding enough, and that says a great deal. The world record could be slipping away here mid-race in this 2nd kilometre. 4 laps in 3:57.9. Remember, Komen 3:55 at 4 laps in his world record all those years ago. That was in Rieti in Italy, that super fast little track a couple of hours outside of Rome up in the beautiful Italian hill country. But, and that was that Kejelcha there just clashing with Grant Fisher as they go through 5 laps, and the 2K time there as they went through 4:59.12. They're way outside what's needed, and I think that world record chance has slipped away.
Yeah, now it's about what can he do to take the sting out of the legs of 3 or 4 of these. If there was 1 or 2 there, but there's not, there's plenty there. Barega just trying to check out, and McSwain just dropping off. The others, though, look comfortable and look good. Bekele's not the quickest on the last lap, but certainly Kejelcha can go quick. So can Aragawi, so can Barega, so can Grant Fisher, to be honest. But Ingebrigtsen has to keep winding this up now.
This is fascinating. I think there's a few of these fellas behind him who will fancy their chances here. But let's not forget that Ingebrigtsen, after yesterday, the 2nd fastest miler in history. Remember that 2 miles in Paris back in early June? He hammered the world record for 2 miles when many thought it was out of reach. It was 7:58. He's taken it down to 7:54. So he has the strength, this fella, to wind it up over the last 600. But Kejelcha is a great racer, can finish with the best. So the gauntlet is being thrown down here by Ingebrigtsen. 500 to go. He has a 1 metre lead. That may prove telling, Steve, with just over a lap to run. But they're queuing up behind him.
Not what we were expecting, and there the first attack comes to Bekele because he isn't the quickest, and Ingebrigtsen has to respond. He wants to hold that curve. Kejelcha could have shut him off and didn't. That wasn't a good move from the Ethiopian. He has to check out and go wide, so now Ingebrigtsen will wind it up from the front.
300 metres to run. Ingebrigtsen from Bekele, from Kejelcha. Kejelcha winding it up for an attack now with 300 to run. Ingebrigtsen surely will hold him at bay here. He's running on tired legs. The others are all fresh. But Barega back in 4th place, the Olympic 10,000 metres champion. He has the speed, he has the strength. But can Ingebrigtsen make them run the wide line here? Around the final bend, the gap's appearing now as Ingebrigtsen imperceptibly winds it up. It's so deceptive. He begins to push hard here. Even Kejelcha is grimacing. Kejelcha, the Ethiopian, was on his shoulder, ready to attack, and he tries again there. The gap going back to the others, but look at this battle to the line. It's one for the ages, and Kejelcha, is he going to get there? I think he might have done. 7:23. They missed the world record by just 3 seconds. And Ingebrigtsen might have been beaten. It's going to be so tight. It's down to a photo. The computer is working it out. And they have given it to Ingebrigtsen. It is a personal best, a meeting record, a European record, a world lead, of course, and a Diamond League record. And I guess, Steve, that is justice. He did the hard work through the 2nd half. Kejelcha beaten by 1/100th of a second. What a race. If he had dived, if he'd crossed the line horizontal, he might have taken it. But JAKOB Ingebrigtsen completes the double.
Well, that is sensational. 3:43, less than 24 hours ago. 7:23 for another record, of course it is, and a whole host of records behind them. And that puts him third on the all-time list. Yes, that record of Daniel Koeman. El Garouge ran a tad quicker as well. But the great thing that I enjoyed there was just how much he wanted to win there. He was hurting, really hurting. And then he put his foot down with 300 to go. He had a little look behind him. Kejelcha was there all the time. And of course, he'll have some memories of that 1500-meter final here last year. But into the home straight when Kejelcha was attacking, he just kept going and right to the line here. Look at him fighting, the pair of them. Amazing, wouldn't it? You would have said on that maybe Kejelcha got it, but no. On the far side, that lean for Ingebrigtsen. The 1500-meter runners finished that, wasn't it? And he got it.
How do you separate the two from that shot? Only because Kejelcha was on the near sides and it looked like he'd got it. Fabulous third place for Grant Fisher too. He came through late for third in a new American record, 7:25.47. Bekele fourth. Imagine finishing fourth in 7:25. Barega fifth, 7:26. Indeed, the first 7 men under 7:30. This is a new era of middle distance running. Quite fabulous place times in this men's 3,000 meters.
Yeah, I think the actual tape is what might have made it look as though Kejelcha had won, but of course the tape isn't the determinant, it's the electronic timing. The tape's just there for a bit of show. Not sure it's helping, but great race between the two of them. Kejelcha did everything he possibly could. It might have been good to see a very fit Cheptegei in that as well, wouldn't it? But nonetheless, there's your double Diamond League champion, but it's not just that, is it? It's those 2 races, the quality, the times that he's produced, and the fact that he had to work hard to win both of them.